The long and the short of it is Netflix is going to start doing video games. That's really what it is. They kind of flirted with this idea a little bit. If you remember, I don't know if you're a Black Mirror fan, but they did sort of a choose your own adventure.
I love that. I did that a couple of times. It was a good time.
Okay, I'm a big Black Mirror fan. I didn't so much enjoy that specific movie, but a lot of people did. Anyway, they've kind of started to go down that path with that, and now they're going right into video games. They're going to start including video games for free on Netflix.
Yes, absolutely. Now, from what I can gather, so if you're not a gamer anymore, so like this maybe Xbox Game Pass is an example, and they're trying to imitate Xbox Game Pass. Basically, Xbox Game Pass is monthly fee, like Netflix, and it just has a plethora of games on it.
Okay.
So a free full games you can download and play. Sometimes they'll have Xbox exclusives that go straight to it for free. So it does piss off PlayStation, Sony a little bit. Now, with the way I'm looking at this, I'm not going to say no to Netflix, because I think we learned our lesson by saying no to Netflix before, when they tried to do the digital movie thing, and Blockbuster's like, that'll never work. And look where we are now. So I think it's right. The people they've hired looks like it's correct. Yeah. The thing is now is depending on what platforms you're going to use it on, right? If you're going to use it on all platforms, so if you use it on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC, you should be okay.
I don't know. What do you mean by use it on platforms? Because I'm not sure. Like they're not making games for Xbox. They're sort of making their own games for Netflix, is my understanding.
So as well, what they want to do is they want to use the Oculus Rift as well as PC, and they also want to use more of like the Google Strata, the stream your game online. They're looking at doing that, but they also want to have a one-stop shop for you come in with your money and you have platform games you can just play for free. So like Blockbuster, basically, you just go in, I want this game, download the game, it's all good. That's basically what I believe they're looking at.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned the Oculus Rift. They've actually hired Mike Verdu, who worked there. He also worked for Facebook and Electronic Arts. So they, like you said, they've got the right people in position to do this. They're hiring new people. Interestingly enough, when I first heard this story, I thought this is what they're going to do to separate themselves from someone like Amazon Prime or Disney Plus, but that's not what they're doing here. They actually don't see this as a competition with them. They actually see it as a way of competing with gaming companies who were taking attention away from them. So if they can have more gaming on their platform, they're gonna keep people from going somewhere else, is what their strategy is.
Yeah, so you're still gonna have to go into Netflix to look for a game, and you might see a movie and go, "Oh, I want to watch How to Become a Tyrant" or something like that. Like that's probably what you're gonna do. Right?
Well, the idea is if they can have you watch a movie and you go, "Okay, I'm done with this movie. I feel like playing video games." You stay on their platform, you play video games.
Yeah, well, if that's the case, though, but you got to remember too, like as we've seen with my internet lately, my internet's not the greatest. You have to have a lot of down and upload speed, whereas some areas won't have that, right? That's kind of where
that's with any gaming, right? So do you think this is a good idea for Netflix?
Yes.
You do? Okay.
I do.
Do you think that it could put them above other streaming services?
No.
Why do you say that?
Why? Because gamers are a fickle type. A perfect example is that like if a service you're not paying for goes down, like if Call of Duty goes down and it's free, Warzone's free, you want to see people complain? People will complain.
That's an interesting point. That's an interesting point that I didn't quite consider. Is with the positive of opening into that sort of atmosphere of gaming, you've also got the negative that comes with it, and the negative from gamers is fucking hardcore. That is right. The first.
Let's put it. Yeah, exactly. But let's put it this way too. So let's say they get Rare, the Rare video game, and they put 007 or they put GoldenEye on there. Let's just use that as an example, or No Mercy. We log in to play it. We're playing it on like a controller of whatever type they're going to have. They're going to need something to do it with. Maybe the PC will do it, and you'll do it, and all of a sudden it goes down. You're like, why the fuck am I paying for it? Yeah. And there's nobody you can call it Netflix. It's all net chats, right?
Yeah. And that's interesting because it's technically free. It's technically included in the same price. I mean, I'm sure they're going to do that Netflix thing where they say it's absolutely free, absolutely included in your subscription. By the way, we just decided we're going to bump it up an extra couple bucks. By the way, we just decided we're going to bump it up a couple bucks. And they're going to sneak that price point up without really telling you why. But it's going to basically, you're going to end up paying for the game, but you're not going to really realize it. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So, hey, we'll go out, we'll buy this studio, we'll buy that studio. Oh, but by the way, your Netflix went from $7.99 4 years ago to $13.99 or $16.99 now, right? So, I mean, if it's over doubled in price.
So I do want to make one more point that I think is worth mentioning is we've seen Netflix produce original content. Tiger King, they purchased all these stand-up comedy specials from Dave Chappelle, paid him several $1 million. And then people only watch them maybe once, maybe twice, get a couple hours out of it and then move on. Whereas if they invest that same money into gaming, they keep people on their platform and they get, who knows, unlimited hours of replay value, keeping them logged onto their system. Yeah, spending that same money into another kind of piece of content.
Yes, now you ever heard of played Fortnite before? I don't know what system you have. I don't play
Fortnite, but I will say, interesting that you bring it up, is they have explicitly named that as a rival that's taking watch time away from from Netflix.
Well, there's not too much left to Fortnite now, but what Fortnite did, free game, we're going to move it along freely. You can buy a monthly battle pass for $10 or whatever it is, and then you can win your battle pass back if you play enough. So basically, for $10, you could play infinite amount of times. You buy skins, all that stuff, but it doesn't help you. So that's what I think Netflix is trying to do, is looking at it and going, they made a free game. Mm-hmm. They made billions of dollars off this free game in 4 years. Why can't we do that? We just need one game, guys. One game to just make us $1 billion and we're fine. You need to find the one niche that everybody will play, and that's where you make your money.
Yeah. I agree. And like I said, if you invest a little bit of money, you invest that same money that you do in original content rather than Tiger King. Everybody watched it once, maybe twice. This, you get hours and hours, unlimited hours of replay value. It's a good investment, I would say.
To me, it's a good investment. You're right. And I mean, even if they were to go and say, you know what, we'll pull some old games from some old companies that no longer exist that, we may just fall in love with. And we go, I love that game. I'll go play that game. They go, we remastered this, remastered that, and we have this new one. It's going to be good, but you'll have to buy a studio to do it. I wouldn't recommend going Netflix right off the hop. Like, you'd probably want to get like a company that knows what they're doing, or find the team of teams to build games.
Yeah, well, I think their plan is to create original content and go from there.
Which, I mean, should be a great time, right? You just got to make sure that you know what you're doing. It's going to stumble out of the gate. It's going to be horrible. It's going to be glitchy. It's not going to work. Everybody's going to be pissed. But I think if you stick with it, I think it'll work out for you. Because yet again, like I said, I'm not a Netflix fan. I'm really not. Like, I think for me, some of the content is kind of gone. I don't really pay attention too much to Netflix anymore. But I'm not going to bet against them. I'm not that dumb. Because like, we've seen it before, man. We've seen it before. And if you're looking at Netflix was the original streamer of digital content when it comes to movies and series, right? Like, they kind of pioneered it. They kind of made it their own, and everybody kind of followed suit. I honestly think that give Netflix a year, they're dangerous. Like, give them a year, they're probably good. Year and a half to 2 years, they're dangerous.
Well, this is okay. I actually agree with you. I think Netflix has perhaps their game has dropped a little bit in the last little while. That doesn't mean they're out of the table, they're out of there, but they're definitely not. And there's been times where it's sort of cyclical, where it's like Netflix isn't quite where they used to be, and then they step up, and Netflix isn't quite where they used to be, and then they step up. For a while, people were saying Netflix isn't quite where they used to be. Boom, we're doing Dave Chappelle, and now we're hiring every stand-up comic to do a special. We're the stand-up special guys for a while. They were like HBO for a while. They replaced what HBO was doing for a while, had all these stand-up specials, threw money at every comic in the world, basically got a Netflix special, good, bad, indifferent, whatever. And then they started getting into true crime, where They started getting Tiger King, and they got
Oh, the staircase, like, dude, the true crime stuff's amazing, and I'm
Yeah.
with you. I'm going with you. I'm now. You and I are on the same page. I'm listening.
yeah. So now people are starting to go, oh, Netflix is kind of a step behind. All these Disney Plus series are really starting to take attention from me, and Netflix doesn't really have a whole lot of new stuff. And then all of a sudden, it's like, now we're gonna put that money into video games, and oh fuck, maybe we gotta. I think you're right when you say I'm not gonna doubt Netflix. Let's see how this goes.
So here's another thing too. Let's look at it. Let's look at it from a cost point of view.
Sure.
Okay, so let's say that what I thought they were doing was they were doing like the Xbox Live PC, like a Steam type place, and I want to say PlayStation was in there. And now let's just say if I could have Netflix, and a gaming subscription all tied into one for maybe a bit more, maybe $22 a month.
No, this is included. That's what this is it's going to be gaming on their platform along with their movies at the same price point. Now I expect that price point to sneak up a little bit, but it is going to
that's what I mean. That's what I mean. If you say your grandfather, and if you join by today, you're guaranteed that price for 5 years.
I promise you that's not going to happen, because Netflix is notorious for sneaking the price up a little bit here and there and a little bit here and there, right?
Oh, no. But what I'm saying is, like, if you did that, and then you were to say to yourself, you were looking to buy a new system for your kid, and you go, Jimmy, what do you want to play? Oh, everybody's playing this game on PlayStation. I go, well, I have that Netflix, and you can download free games on that. So what you're going to do is now I'm going to buy the PlayStation. You're going to get a PlayStation now, and I'm going to keep the Netflix. Where if you're looking at, like, you get Crave, you got, what do you got? You got Paramount, Peacock, you got all these different kinds of streaming services. Everybody's got one now. So you're like, okay, you know what? I can get rid of this one because now Jimmy's playing on the Xbox. I got to keep Netflix now because he's got the video games on there. He plays with his buddies.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, Netflix is going, we have children content, preschool content. We now have the kids from like 7 to 50. And then we have our rest of our people that like it. So I honestly think they're on top of their game. I think when it comes out, I think you'll probably see Amazon and all the other streaming services probably try and jump in right behind them with it.
And that is the next question is, have they opened up a new can of worms? Because we know that Amazon's got their foot in a different, a little bit in here, a little bit over there, a little bit over there. And once they go, oh, video games, didn't really think of that. Yeah, we could do that too. Are they going to sort of open Pandora's box in a way that maybe they didn't expect?
Depends on the games they're going to go after. If they're going to go after these elaborate RPGs with that,
to clarify, they're not going after. They're developing them in-house. So Amazon possibly has more resources to develop in-house. So does that competition perhaps favor a company like Amazon that's got a lot of resources to develop the in-house video games, as opposed to Netflix, who knows?
It's all about who you got running your show.
Yeah,
like you said, the guy running used to work for EA, used to work for Oculus Rift, used to work for all these different companies. If he wasn't a dick and he was really well loved, you slowly start pulling their top developers from every other place. You set them with a big salary at Netflix, you're laughing because you're the first guy. So you got to get the best talent, because if you don't, then you get tier 2 talent. And what tier 2 talent does is tier 2 games.
So my next question is, these guys up against Disney Plus, because Disney Plus has the properties that could, you can't tell me that a Tiger King video game is going to do anything against a Star Wars video game, against a Mandalorian video game, against a Loki video game. You know what I mean? What are they gonna, what do they got? I mean, a Stranger Things side quest, that'd be fun for a little while, but it's not going to rival the Avengers video game on Disney Plus if they go that route.
Okay, well let's look at it. Let's look at it from a different point of view. Then let's look at it from let's go back in our history of video games.
Sure.
Mario.
Sure.
Mario.
Sure.
Nobody's touching Mario for like 5 or 6 years. Sonic.
Yeah.
Sonic kind of crashed. Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then Mario's still kicking around. Xbox really didn't have a guy. They had like Halo series, Gears of War, things of that nature. They'll have to make their own guy. Like that's what they're gonna have to do is make somebody that they can push on.
Yeah. Well,
so like we don't even know what that's gonna be, right?
I don't know. I don't I don't, when I think of all the streaming services that have intellectual property ready to create a video game, I don't see Netflix. You know, they got a lot of stand-up specials. They got a lot of true crime specials. What am I going to do? Am I going to be Dave Chappelle and I got to write a joke for him? Like, what? I don't see
that's
the
no.
transition.
So that's what I was saying was they have to go out and buy some old studios and old
Sure.
copyrights so they can get it back into them.
That's an
Now,
interesting.
if they're working with PlayStation, they'll have all of Sony's properties as well, right?
That's interesting.
Because Sony's been said that they wanted to make something to rival the Xbox.
All I can say before making side deals with other companies or anything like that, just on the platform alone, I think that if all of them started dipping their toes into video games, the one that's got the most exciting properties would have to be Disney Plus. And I mean, Disney Plus has such a large library, I mean, of adults. You know, they got Aliens, they got Simpsons, they got Futurama, they got Avengers, they've got everything as far as intellectual property. So if that can of worms is opened and everybody else says, you know what, that's a good idea, I think Netflix might be in more trouble than they realize.